The story begins as Virginia Potts, a 31-year-old top scientist and executive at Stark Industries, is walking along with Happy, who also works there, telling him that she's in love with her boss, knowing that this is a stupid thing, but she can't help falling for him. She further states that he calls her Pepper and that she's helped her boss in escaping a lot of problems. Then all of a sudden she sees Tony Stark lying injured in a metallic armor suit on the ground. She gets worried about her boss and asks Happy to help her lift him up. Tony Stark is a millionaire businessman and scientist with a high reputation in society. He is envied by millions and soon is destined to become one of the most tragic figures on Earth. As they remove Stark's helmet, he asks them to stop, stating that this armor is keeping him alive. So he was just lying there to recharge it, and is good to go now. Pepper and Happy try to convince him to visit a doctor, but he denies them, saying that these are just minor abrasions, burns, injuries, and significant bruising, so there's no need to worry. Tony asks everyone to leave and let him focus on the remodeling of the suit to save the world. But only Happy and his butler Jarvis leave his penthouse while Pepper stays there working on her computer. She falls asleep due to fatigue and sees a nightmare in which she is clawing at a parasite attached to her chest until her nails peel off. Stark calls her and she wakes up, and she sees Tony wearing a suit once again, as new dermal regenerators wouldn't work otherwise. The person she thought was dead is now standing before her in even better condition, trying to invent something the world isn't ready for. Tony tells Pepper that the future of Stark Industries is bright because if this armor works, it would be a mobile hospital for people, as it contains dermal regenerators, semi-autonomous computational machinery for knitting flesh back together, and it can probe inside the body, repairing organ damage, fixing bones, controlling DNA replications, and resequencing tissues. Tony says that he sucks at dying, as he is really good at figuring out ways to live, and this suit would protect and keep him alive. Tony shows Pepper his left hand, having gloves over them, bragging that it has 3 fractures, but now it is completely fine, and asks her to take the gloves off. As she removes the gloves, everyone gets baffled and terrified because the skin of Tony's forearm and hand gets peeled off along the gloves, leaving Tony in unbearable pain. So they put the gloves back over it. Now Mr. Stark once again starts working over it, saying that it has a few bugs, and it didn't eat the skin, but replaced it with iron skin, as it is supposed to protect me. Mr. Stark tells them that he only needs to rebuild the supervisory algorithm to make it regenerate the skin it took, while Pepper tells him that she has refreshed herself on the company's latest AI and biomedical research, and Stark appreciates her. Mr. Stark orders Jarvis and Happy to prepare the manufacturing plants and set them on hot standby, while telling Pepper that they both would stay there until they finish it. Both start burning the midnight oil to fix it, solving each other's equations, and Pepper is loving all the moments she spends with him. Mr. Stark shares his vulnerable insight with Pepper, telling her that his joke about sucking at death was merely a way to hide something he's worried about, and that is the fear of being mentioned in the newspaper after his death as a villain who used to be an arms manufacturer, spending his life in the service of death and profit. He says that it would be very unfair, as he just makes those tools but never kills anyone with it. He expresses his desire to be remembered as a hero who helped mankind and made this world a better place. He also tells Pepper that he decided to stop postponing the things he loves while he was in a cave. Then he kisses her passionately, and after a while Pepper tells him that they would have plenty of time later on for it once they get this machine off him, and both start working again. They split up, with each of them working on different things, and they would have never realized that it was Sunday if Jarvis hadn't shown up with breakfast. Suddenly, they become extremely terrified when they look at Mr. Stark with his skin melting and seeping through the armor. Pepper asks Mr. Stark why did he put that suit back on, while Mr. Stark is unaware of it and asks her if he is really wearing the suit again, telling her that his arm has stopped hurting, but his legs and head started hurting as soon as he removed the suit, and he doesn't even remember when did he wear it again. Pepper tells Tony about his skin, which has been melted, and Tony says that as this machine is the only way to keep him alive, so he would keep wearing it. Mr. Stark creates an uncrossable barrier between him and others to focus on the work, while trying to fix the machine. Pepper scans his body and lab scanners and finds out that the wires from the suit have penetrated deep into his brain. His skull is gone, and all she can see is undifferentiated meat. The situation worsens as Tony kicks the building into lockdown, with doors shut and others unable to reach him. So all they can do is wait as he's focused on building the machine with everything he has. After a long time, Tony unlocks the lab and states that human bodies are full of weak points, and they live with it because this is all they know. But they won't suffer anymore, as he would protect everyone. Pepper, Happy, and Jarvis try to stop him, but he pulls Happy and Jarvis inside the lab and locks it once again. Tony activates the fire suppression system inside the lab, which sucks all the oxygen in the room and pumps inert CO2 in its place, and says that humans can't survive it. While Pepper quickly goes into Tony's penthouse, only to find a single security camera of the lab working. She gets stupefied after hearing the bones cracking and seeing everything gush out of the bodies of Happy and Jarvis, while Tony is putting them inside newly made iron suits. After some time, both of them get up and start helping Tony in making more suits. Pepper is still trapped inside, and she's frustrated to see the empty feed, but all of a sudden, the tower gets unlocked. Pepper thinks that the most brilliant man on the planet had all the night to do whatever he wanted without interference, and with the support of the most advanced automated manufacturing facilities in the world. Then, through the window, she sees Mr. Stark coming out of the tower and telling people that the diseases doctors used to call incurable can be treated now with the help of Stark Industries, while all they need to do is to climb inside the suit. She shouts through the window to stop people from climbing into the suit, only to find out people fighting to climb in faster. The screams of people begin after climbing into these suits, and it's only when what's inside those suits changes that the screams finally stop. Pepper knows that the same thing is going to happen to her when a heavy hand rests upon her shoulder and calls the name she doesn't let anyone else call her. Pepper. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel.